Hello there. I'm going to bring you a review now of the Adidas Ace Trans Pro. That's a lot of contractions and a mouthful. This is the 16-17 configuration of the glove. It was updated and then replaced by the reborn Predator Pro. It is a very, very nice glove. It's extremely well made. It is representative of the modern trend for goalkeeper gloves in that there's a lot of interesting technological quirks and not so much in the way of latex. There's more use of materials and all sorts of tricks. I had a pair of these previously. I had the first black and fluorescent yellow colourway that was released for the European Championships in 2016. I'm a big fan of the what was once known as the Response Pro, then became the Predator and Ace, etc. But I do feel that Adidas have a reasonably impressive heritage when it comes to goalkeeper gloves. I'm always keen to try the new version of the Pro when they release it. Obviously, it's a remarkably popular glove with the various professionals. Countless goalkeepers use it. It's kind of the de facto Adidas goalkeeper glove. Um, it is a little different if you're a bit of a traditionalist, a bit of a philistine, which I am. Um, but in the end, I feel the positives do outweigh the negatives with it. To try it on, it's got blimey, the rather aggressive, as you can see, stretch strap, which is changed a little bit It's much heavier this year in terms of the stickiness, but it does give a nice fit, and obviously it's adjustable. It's a trait which some goalkeepers are big fans of. I am fine with it. I do appreciate the adjustability, but I can take it or leave it, frankly. It's neoprene on the enclosure, which is a bit better on this glove than it has been on others. It's not quite such a pain to get on. It's a one-piece construction on the back of the glove, so if I can just sort of see that, you can see it best there. It flows all the way down, so rather than there being a separation, the separation takes place on the palm. I'll just pull that down a little bit, but it is essentially a one-piece, so it's a bit more supported in terms of fabric, so it's a bit nicer, a bit easier to get on. I'm not a fan of neoprene enclosures or neoprene in general. I appreciate the virtues that it provides, but I feel that in many respects it's outweighed by the fact that you feel like you're tearing the glove apart just to get it on. The strap itself, as I say, it's adjustable. I tend to like a tight turn, and then obviously slightly less on there. He's got it on there, so that's on now. It feels lovely, really, really lovely on. Obviously, I've still got the plastic protection on the latex. Obviously, I'll have to remove that. In the last couple of years, on the thumb, Adidas have switched to a full negative thumb rather than rolling it over, which is fine with me. I'm not a lover of rolling the thumb over because it can be very bulky. The full negative thumb is very nice and complements the rest of the glove, which obviously is a full negative design with the stitching up to but not the tips. This is, as I say, one of the, now with the Vapor Grip Free, it's one of the goalkeeper gloves. And there is a good reason for that for once. It's not just marketing gumph. I mean, say what you will about the different changes they make, and I don't like the fact that they feel the need to change this glove and up the price every single season, but it is a bloody good glove. I'm a huge fan of negative cut gloves in general, and this is a bloody good example. As I say, I haven't used this one yet, obviously, but based upon my experiences with the previous colourway, I had no problems with it whatsoever. Great control on the ball, very, very comfortable. It does feel light, but I think that's obviously the point. So sometimes you do feel a little like want for a little padding. I'm not a lover of heavily padded gloves, but I do know of some keepers who wouldn't like this one bit. And I have noticed that the roll finger variant, the fingertip, is growing in popularity. I think that as they lighten the materials and the weight of the glove, there are a few keepers who find the attempt to kind of create the second skin, it's a little bit too far. But the latex is a variation of the Nova latex, which Adidas introduced back in 2012. It's a very good latex. It works well in dry or wet and holds itself up very well. In terms of fit and feel, I find Adidas gloves run sometimes a whole size too big. I mean, for example, I'm a true to size 8 in the vast majority of goalkeeper gloves, and I take a size 7 in the fingertips. I'll probably review, I have a pair of those left over, I'll probably review them just to highlight the point. In these, I am wearing a size 7.5, 7.5, and I still have a little bit of play in the fingers. And in the little finger, as I've said in previous videos, I do have both my little fingers are broken, so it's not the best reference. Thumb, however, is excellent. Really, really nice and perfect fit to size. I wouldn't want this glove to be any tighter. I know obviously that some people with the negative cut gloves, they like them to be really tight. I don't like that personally. I find it, there's only so much, so far you can go in terms of control before it's a bit over the top, but to each their own, it has to be said. I like the design. It's a very fetching blue. It's pleasing rather than some of the more garish colours. And obviously they did the red, the green, the blue. It's all much of a muchness. It's just changing in colourways. That's one thing I don't like. Is that it's a bit cynical. Goalkeeper gloves now are like football boots, like anything else. You don't even get one per season. You get one per every 3 months or something, which is very expensive. Really, you've got to pick when you can afford to buy the glove, and you have to stick with it. Whereas obviously the pros just get it and it's all matched up to the boots. That's a sartorial touch. It's very nice, but practically for the average sort of amateur footballer, it's very, very expensive. And that leads me on to my biggest bugbear with these gloves. Yes, they're well made. Yes, they are the flagship glove of one of the biggest sportswear companies in the world. But the point remains, this glove is increasing in price with every single model, and Adidas's nakedly cynical use of the Predator name, binning it a few years ago and bringing it back, this glove goes up in price every single time. I happened to get this pair for a ludicrous price. I paid £25 for it because obviously I bought it from an outlet which is getting rid of previous stock. Now, in terms of this glove and the glove that replaced it, the second generation of the Trans and the Predator, there's no real difference. You buy this, or you could buy the Predator. It's just a different name and a different colour, and it's the same glove, and the price goes up. That is where my cynicism with companies like Adidas and Nike are even worse, because at least with different versions, Adidas try and do something different, try some kind of innovation. Nike, up until very recently, which is something hopefully we'll get into at a later date, have been very, very cynical, just upping the price, changing the colour, upping the price. It's not good, but that notwithstanding, if you are prepared to spend the money, it's well built, it's beautiful on, it's an example of a modern goalkeeper glove, but it does its job very, very well. If you like a negative cut glove, there are not many better examples of the form. So as a practical implement, as a glove, I can't really fault it. But it's just Adidas's marketing practices which I don't agree with. But if you can get one like I did, or a pair rather, like I did for a very good price, it's well worth doing it because it is a very good glove.